Level 1, the lost office worker. You're 34, heavy for your age, and you get winded on the stairs at work. You adjust insurance claims, yet you somehow dream of achieving something exciting, so you join clubs. Now you're joining a team of climbers. Saturday morning. A gravel lot in the Columbia River Gorge, at the bottom of a 4-mile hill with a gift shop. Your gear came off a Target clearance rack, tags torn off in the car. 11 strangers. One is Marcus Sunburned, 47, ice axe strapped to his pack. For a 4-mile hill. He looks at your boots. Nice boots. They'll outlast you. Everybody laughs. He laughs hardest. You laugh too because he's made it funny instead of mean. Those boots were 4 Saturdays of overtime. Then the hill. You're last at every switchback. They wait at the top of each one, nice about it, which is the worst part. You top out 40 minutes behind. Everyone's eaten and gone. Marcus is still there with half a sandwich he saved you. You sit down next to that axe and count the notches filed into the head. 1 per summit, 11, and a 12th started, blank. You ask what it's for. He says one word, Everest. You just got beaten by a hill with a gift shop at the bottom. You say yes. He spends the next 7 years teaching you how to get there. Neither of you knows what it's going to cost. Level 2, the weekend mountaineer. 40 Saturdays. That's the number, and nobody tells you that part because 40 Saturdays isn't a story. You keep a tally in your phone for 11. Then you stop counting, and stopping is how you know it took. What changes first isn't your legs, it's the waiting. Week 6, you top out and 2 people are still coming up behind you, and you're the one being nice about it, and you understand what you look like in July. Then you get sick, not altitude sick, the other thing. You buy a Petzl with 400 lumens for hikes that end at 2 in the afternoon. Your garage grows a wall of REI bags. Your wife stands in front of it one night with a laundry basket on her hip, Jenna. 11 years married and asks how many jackets a person needs. And you hear yourself say the words layering system out loud in your own house. She doesn't laugh. She sets the basket down, moves one of your jackets off the dryer, folds it, leaves it where you'll find it, then goes upstairs. You don't put anything back. The first real objective is Mount Hood. And the first thing it teaches you is that walking uphill was never the skill. Crampons that catch your own pant leg twice before you learn to walk like a man carrying something heavy between his knees. Marcus ties your knots the first time, then makes you do it again while he watches. The second one takes 4 minutes. Then he teaches you self-arrest by walking you onto a 30-degree slope on the Palmer snowfield, saying, "Watch this," and shoving you. You go 12 feet on your back before your brain catches up. The axe bites. You stop. "You'll do it wrong once," he says, already walking away. "Better here than up there." Up there. He said it twice now, both times like a place with an address, and both times you let it go. 2 hours below the summit you throw up into your own hood. Your fault 2 Gatorades in your pack the whole way, untouched, because stopping felt like admitting something. Marcus doesn't slow down and he doesn't say anything kind. He unclips your pack, pulls out the jet boil, a quart of water, the spare jacket, puts it all in his own, hands yours back, and keeps walking. 4 pounds. He never mentions it. Not that day. Not once in the 7 years after it. You hate it. It works. You summit at 9:20 and it is not a religious experience. It's cold, it's crowded, and the whole thing takes 9 minutes. Then, on the way down, you pass somebody. One guy. Going the same direction. Slower than you. It is the smallest event in the history of human achievement, and you think about it for a week. At your desk. In the shower. Some part of you that's been sitting down since you were 26 gets up. That's the thing nobody warns you about. You didn't come here to lose weight. You came because for 8 years you've been a man other people wait for, and you just found the one room where you might not be. In the parking lot you unbox your own axe. A black diamond raven, $65, head still in its plastic sleeve. It looks like a toy next to his steel chouinard, and you hold it anyway. Marcus looks at it a second. Then at you. "Next one's rock," he says. "Ropes. Real fall potential. Places where slipping isn't funny." You say yes before he finishes the sentence. You've never touched a rope in your life. In 9 days you'll be 300 feet off the ground. Level 3, the alpine climber. 300 feet up the north ridge of Mount Stewart, second pitch, and you make the mistake every single person makes exactly once. You look between your feet. There's nothing down there. Not empty, nothing like your body being handed evidence it's going to die and shutting down rather than argue. Your legs sew themselves shut. Your hands will not open. 90 seconds. Marcus is 40 feet above you and doesn't say one encouraging word. He doesn't say anything at all. He starts humming. Something tuneless, 4 notes, the sound of a man who has all afternoon. And that's what gets you moving, not courage. You just cannot stand being hummed at. What nobody tells you about alpine climbing is that it's 90% discomfort and 10% terror, and the 10% is the only part you ever describe. The other 90 is a ledge the width of a kitchen counter where 2 grown men sleep sitting upright, boiling snow for 90 minutes to make water that tastes like the pot. And you paid for this. Nobody made you. You filled out a form and sent money. That's where he tells you about Everest. 10 years, he says. 8 of them before he met you. 2 permits bought, 2 windows lost, 1 to weather, 1 to a knee that cost him $11,000 and a season. He's 49. He says it flat, the way he says everything, looking out at nothing. Then he holds up the axe in the dark, shows you the blank notch, and says he's had to refile it twice to stop it rusting closed. He says it like a joke. You lie there doing math you have no business doing. He's 49. He's been chasing one mountain since before you owned boots. The next morning you lead a pitch. You're first. You place your own gear badly. 4 cams where 2 would do, and build an anchor that takes 11 minutes and would have taken him 90 seconds. Then Marcus climbs up after you. The man who taught you how to tie a knot is second on the rope. And for 8 minutes at the top of that pitch you understand what he's been building, and you can't decide whether it's a gift or a plan. He lets you carry the old axe on one pitch. He won't let you keep it overnight. You ask, half joking. He says no, not joking. A weather window opens on the same weekend as your sister's wedding. You go to the mountain. You send flowers with a note you write in the car with a rental agreement pen. Jenna doesn't fight with you about it. She doesn't raise her voice, doesn't cry, doesn't do any of the things you braced for on the drive home. That's how you learn what a real fight looks like. It looks like nothing. In the parking lot, Marcus is on his truck with his phone out. A guy named Petrosian tore an Achilles. There's a seat open on a Denali permit in June. The team's out $4,000 either way, so it's cheap. And it's yours if you can be gone 21 days. 21 days. You drop to 4 days a week at the insurance office to make it work. $19,000 a year, and your manager's respect. Gone, for a mountain you've seen one photograph of. You sign the transfer form on the hood of his truck. 21 days on a glacier in Alaska, 11 of them in a tent, 1 of them 9 feet under the snow. Level 4, the expedition climber. 21 days. You've never been anywhere for 21 days. Not a job, not a country, not your honeymoon, which was 9. The part the photographs leave out. Almost none of it is climbing. Denali is 6 days in a tent at 14,000 feet listening to another man breathe while the wind plays the same 4 notes on the fly. You read a soup packet's ingredients. Twice. You carry your own waste down in a clean mountain can with your name on it. Your name. On it, like a lunchbox. And it does not seal as well as you'd like. You break a frozen Snickers with a rock. Somebody in the next tent plays the same podcast episode 4 times because it's the only one that downloaded in Talkeetna. On day 9, a climber from a Slovenian team dies at 16,000 feet. You don't see it. It comes over the radio at dinner. Dinner continues. That's when you understand what kind of building you walked into. Nobody's callous. There are 11 days of food in camp, a weather window on Thursday, and a dead man you never met, and all 3 are the same size up here. Marcus gives you the rule on the way up to 17,000. Not like wisdom, like arithmetic, which is worse, because you can't argue with arithmetic at 4 in the morning. You pick a turnaround time at the bottom when your brain works, because at the top it won't, and the man up there wearing your face will have excellent reasons, and every one is a lie your body tells you to get what it wants. The mountain doesn't care what you paid, he says. Then he takes a marker from his chest pocket and writes the time on the back of his hand. Everyone does. 11:40, blue ink, so the version of you at 20,000 feet has to read the handwriting of the version who was sane. You summit on day 16 at 11:32. 8 minutes to spare. The descent is where it happens. 14,000 feet whiteout. And you put a foot through a snow bridge you've personally crossed 11 times in 3 weeks. You go into the armpits, then past, and then you're hanging in a blue room. Nobody can describe this properly. It isn't loud. It's the quietest place you've ever been. No wind, no voices, no crampons, just the rope creaking above your head, blue light through 40 feet of ice, and cold air below your boots going down to somewhere that doesn't end. 9 feet down with your pack pulling at your hips. Above you in a whiteout, a 50-year-old man drops flat, digs in, and builds a 2-picket anchor with hands that stopped working an hour ago. Then he hauls you out. 40 minutes. You do a lot of it yourself, knees on the ice, and none of it matters if he doesn't hold. When your head comes over the lip, he's sitting in the snow with his gloves off, gray in the face, shaking his fingers like they're wet. He looks at you a second. You're heavier than you look. That's it. No speech, no moment, no story either of you ever tells at a dinner table. 3 days later, packing out, he takes the old axe off his pack and holds it out. You start to say no. He says he's got a new one. It's a lie. You'll work that out years from now when it won't help. Bring it back to me on Everest. And you say yes, because it's a warm afternoon and you're 21 days dirty and the man who pulled you out of a hole is grinning at you. You have no idea you just agreed to anything. Let me say one thing and then I will not bring it up again. A lot of you asked how I make this style of YouTube videos, so I gathered all my tactics for starting a channel like mine in this guide. If you want it, the link's below. Now let's get back to the video. Level 5, the high altitude climber. The kid in your driveway is 19 and he can smell it on you. He's offering $1,900 for a Tacoma worth $3.5, and he isn't embarrassed because he watched you check your phone twice in 4 minutes and worked out you need it gone Thursday. You take it. That's the first installment. You said yes to Everest in a gravel parking lot in Alaska, mouth full in a second and a half. This is the invoice. Nobody put you on Everest without an 8,000er on your card, and Cho Oyu is the cheap one, 12,000 all in, with a reputation for being easy, which tells you plenty. You do the conversion driving home in your wife's car, 31 months of payments, on a truck you liked. Above 26,000 feet, your body stops maintaining itself and starts spending itself. You aren't acclimatizing. You're decomposing on a schedule. Then there's the arithmetic that kills people, and it never makes the brochure. One Poisk bottle gives you 6 hours at 2 quarts a minute. Turn it to 4 and you feel like a god, and you have 3. Every person above 24,600 feet runs that division in a brain oxygen starved for 2 weeks. And the number they get is always kinder than the one they get at sea level. Marcus does it on paper at Camp 2, with a pencil, twice. Then makes you check his working like a schoolteacher. Everyone else does it in their head. Those are the ones you read about later. Jenna doesn't ask what it costs. That's new, and it's worse. The mountain takes its own payment. 2 toes on your left foot lose feeling on summit rotation and never come back. Not that year. Not ever. You wear thicker socks and stop taking your boots off around people. You don't tell her for 4 months, which is the actual injury if you're honest. The toes are just toes. 600 feet below the summit, the wind turns and Marcus calls it. He's right. Textbook the thing he taught you on Denali with a marker in the back of his hand. Everyone on that route knows it. Nobody argues. But he's quiet on the way down in a way you've never seen. Not tired quiet. Somewhere else. That night at Camp 2, he asks what time the window closed. You tell him. 9/15. 40 seconds later, he asks again. You tell him again. He does the arithmetic out loud a 3rd time, slowly, like it might come out differently. You put it down to altitude. Everybody's stupid up there. You have personally watched a grown man spend 6 minutes trying to put a sock on a stuffed sack. 10 days later, the weather reopens. Marcus's chest is bad, a rattle he keeps calling nothing. He stays at Camp 2. You go up without him. You summit Cho Oyu at 7:40 with his axe on your pack. The blank notch has been 9 inches from your face for 11 hours, and you've thought about it the whole way. Then you come down expecting anything, and he is thrilled, not gracious, not managing it. Asterisk thrilled asterisk on his feet, rattle still in his chest, grabbing your shoulders, asking what the last 300 feet were like, then cooking you the worst meal of your adult life. Top ramen with a star-kissed packet emptied in, served like a steak. That night he tells it to 2 Austrians at base camp, getting a detail wrong on purpose to make you look stronger. You hear it and don't correct him. Later, outside, talking to the middle distance instead of to you, he says it. Everest, both of you. 3 years to raise it, and his share is coming out of a remortgage, which he mentions like a parking ticket, before going back inside for the other half of the star-kissed. He's put his house on a mountain that already beat him twice. Somebody should tell him no. It takes 3 years, and it turns out to be you. Level 6, the Himalayan mountaineer. On the Everest application, Manaslu is a box you tick. That's the whole reason you're on a 26,000-foot mountain in September. The outfitter won't take your deposit without a second $8,000 on your card. And Manaslu fits the calendar. Your body has not read the paper. There is a line. On a mountain. 40 people in $8,000 suits standing single file at 20,000 feet. Because somebody up front is having trouble with a crampon and nobody can get past him. So everyone waits. At altitude. In a queue. And the fixed lines are already in. The ladders are placed. The camps are built, stocked, dug out, all of it by 2 Sherpa crews 3 weeks ago in weather you wouldn't walk to your car in. You are going to summit on rope you did not hang. 4 in the morning, day 11, a serac lets go above Camp 1. It isn't an avalanche sound. It's a building falling on another building. You're 200 yards left of it and you feel it come up through the ground into your teeth. Then 9 seconds of nothing while everyone on that glacier waits to find out which way it went. It went right. 2 climbers from a Korean team don't come out. You spend the next day on a rope line bringing one of them down. 6 of you sledging, lowering, rotating out every 40 yards. And the thing that stays with you isn't the face or the cold. A person is not heavy. Summit rotation, and above 25,000 feet you look back down the fixed line. Marcus is 11 minutes behind you, not tired. You know what he looks like tired. You've watched him tired on 4 continents. This is slow, which is a different animal, and it doesn't go away when he rests. So you kneel and adjust a crampon that doesn't need adjusting, take 90 seconds over it, and understand 2 things at once in the wind. You are going to stand on top of Everest, and you are no longer sure that he is. He comes up level with you. He looks at the crampon. He knows exactly what you're doing. Neither of you says one word about it. Summit day, the wind is wrong at the plateau 35. Gusting past 50. The model says it drops at 640, and the model has been wrong twice this week. You write 11:20 on the back of your hand and call a 2-hour hold, and Marcus argues. In front of the whole group, at 25,600 feet, in his teaching voice, the one from the snow slope, the one from Denali. He says the model is soft, that 2 hours costs more than it saves. You hold anyway. The wind drops at 640. You both summit at 11:15, it's clean, and nobody on that rope ever mentions you were right. That's the first time you overrule the man who taught you everything. It's also the last time it's free. Kathmandu, 4 days later, a plastic table in Thamel, 2 beers you didn't order. His sponsor has cut him to Gironli next season. No cash. Jackets. Jackets. They're paying him in jackets. 53 years old, 11 years on their roster, compensated in outerwear. Then he slides the printout across the table. Permits confirmed. 11,000 each, 73 all in spring season. It's real. It's happening. He asks to hold the axe a minute. He turns it over, runs a thumb along the notches like a man counting change, and hands it back. The receipt for the remortgage is folded inside his passport like a photo of a kid. In 7 months, you'll be close enough to see the summit of Everest with your own eyes. That turns out to be the problem. Level 7, the Everest expedition. 2 months of your life to buy 4 hours at the top. Base camp is not a spiritual place. It's a gravel town on a moving glacier. Generators. Everest Link Wi-Fi by the gigabyte. A guy 3/10 over live streaming in a dinner plate logo, saying the word journey into a phone on a stick. He is not going above base camp. He has 60,000 followers. You cross the icefall 6 times. Aluminum ladders lashed end to end over holes with no bottom at 3 in the morning because that's when the ice is least interested in moving. The 6th is worse than the 1st by then. You know what the noises mean. Camp 3 is cut into the Lhotse face where you clip in to stand up, to urinate, to sleep. And every rotation Marcus takes longer to come back. He knows you're watching. So he sets an alarm 20 minutes before yours, and by the time you're up he's got his boots on and a cup of something, like he's been awake an hour. You never say a word. You set yours 30 minutes earlier and pretend you slept badly. May 21st. Out of Camp 4 at 9:40 at night, 11 of you strung out on the fixed line like beads. The balcony at 4 in the morning. There are bodies on this route. You pass them. Nobody says anything because talking up here costs air. On the back of your hand, in blue marker, in your own handwriting. 11 o'clock, 10:20. South summit behind you. The ridge ahead. 500 vertical feet left. 90 minutes of work, maybe less. You can see it. 7 years, a truck. A marriage quiet for 2 of them, 2 toes, all of it 500 feet away, right in front of your face. And Marcus asks what time the window closes. You tell him. 40 seconds later, he asks again. Then he goes for his carabiner and misses. Hand comes up, closes on nothing, comes back, goes again. He isn't panicking. That's what breaks you. He's patient about it, working at it, like a man doing a puzzle in a waiting room. Then he takes his right glove off and sets it down on the snow. Neatly. You put the glove back on his hand. You click him short. You turn him around. He fights you, not metaphorically. He gets an elbow into your mask at 28,500 feet, and you take it and keep turning him, and behind you the summit stays where it is, 11 hours down. His oxygen runs out above the balcony, so you split yours, which means neither of you has enough. And the last 3 hours happen with your vision closed to a tunnel with your headlamp in it. 2 Sherpa from another team meet you at 26,000 and take his weight. You don't have the air to thank them properly. You still think about it. He lives. CIWEC Clinic, Kathmandu, Day 3. 2 fingertips gone on the right hand. The left foot saved. You haven't slept? You've been in the chair 60 hours. He wakes up and for 4 seconds it's the face you know. Then it goes. Do you know what you stole from me? 15 years. 2 permits, 2 windows, a knee, a mortgage, a marriage that went before yours did. He says he was fine. He says it was 90 minutes. He says he would have taken the hand. He says it like a man who did that trade in his head years ago and is furious you didn't let him make it. And in 90 seconds, every warm thing he ever did for you gets a second meaning. The 4 pounds out of your pack, the half sandwich, the anchor on Denali. Asterisk, bring it back to me on Everest. Asterisk, he doesn't say thank you. He also never says the other thing. He never once says you turned around too. It was your summit as much as his. You spent it on him. And he never acknowledges not in that room, not in the 5 years after that it cost you anything at all. That's what actually breaks it, not the anger, the arithmetic. You take the axe out of your bag and set it on the blanket by his good hand, blank notch up. You say nothing because everything available is a speech, and he taught you not to make those. The industry does the rest inside a season. Sponsors go. The talks dry up. He becomes a phrase people say at outdoor retailer without knowing it's cruel, the man who turned back and it sticks to him, not you. Because he was somebody and you weren't. You text him on his birthday for 3 years. Year 1 it delivers. Nothing. Year 2 it delivers. Nothing. Year 3 it doesn't deliver. When you finally go back to the mountains, it won't be for a summit. It'll be for a body. It isn't his. Not yet. Level 8, the mountain rescue legend. For 18 months, you don't climb anything. You go back to 5 days a week. You are extremely visibly fine. You say the word fine out loud, unprompted, to people who didn't ask, and Jenna doesn't buy it for a day. She doesn't push.
She stops asking about the garage.
The thing that finally gets you back on a mountain is not a summit. It's a corpse. A guy from Manaslu calls. There's a body at 23,000 feet. The family is paying. Nobody wants it. You say yes before you've decided to. That's how you learn what high-altitude rescue really is. Money and arithmetic, in that order. Below 20,000 feet, a helicopter longline can reach you, and a policy usually covers it. Above 23,000, there is no helicopter, just men on a rope, 6 days, and a bill north of 80,000 that no policy pays. Which means a family in a kitchen in Ohio decides what they can afford to bring home. On a satellite call, with you explaining that their son stays at 27,000 feet permanently because moving him would put 4 other men where he is. You learn to say that in a voice that doesn't shake. That's a skill. Nobody puts it on a resume. Then the reputation arrives, and it isn't the one you'd have picked. You don't get known for bringing people back. You get known for turning them around. 23 clients in 4 seasons. People who saved for a decade, flew across the world, and got a decision instead of a summit. One writes a mountain project post using the phrase "Star Coward's Guide Star." It does numbers. A man who could not hold a spoon at 26,000 feet went home, slept in a bed, and wrote 900 words about your nerve. Then, 14 months later, one of them writes to you. He'd had a bleed at altitude nobody caught, including you. He found out at home in an MR1. 2 paragraphs. No drama. He isn't even warm about it. You print it out. You don't frame it. You don't throw it away. That's the only thank you the job gives you, and it's enough. Which tells you something about the job. Marcus you hear about secondhand. Budget outfits, the kind that take a client with nothing on the card. The stories come over 3 seasons, from agents, from guides, at bars in Kathmandu. A client left at the South Call overnight. A client who came home without toes. And a man telling a table of paying customers that turnaround times are for tourists. You sit with that one a while. You know whose voice is saying it and which sentence it's built to bury. He is conducting your funeral in public, one season at a time. Then you see him. Lukla Airstrip, October, both of you waiting out the same weather with 40 yards of wet concrete between you. He's thinner, in a logo you don't recognize, hood up indoors. He sees you. You know he does because he stops talking mid-sentence to the man beside him. Neither of you moves. The plane comes. You get on different ones. And that is the entire conversation the two of you have in 5 years. 11 months later, Manaslu, you take a call at 1 in the morning for a client at Camp 3 with a swollen brain and no coordination. You reach him at 3. You get him down. You get him on a Simric Air Longline at 6:40. He's one of Marcus's. In March, the permit lists go up, and somebody sends you a photo, because somebody always does. Marcus. Everest. Spring season. An outfit called Summit Dream Adventures, which means no doctor on staff, minimum bottles, and one guide for every 4 clients where that number should be 1. He's 59 years old. You already know how this ends. The only thing you don't know is whether you'll be close enough to be the one who finds him. Level 9, the Everest legend. You buy a permit for the same season. You tell Jenna it's work. She listens to the whole explanation, then asks one question. Is he going to be up there? You don't answer it. She books your flight that night anyway, which is its own answer, and neither of you mentions it again for 6 weeks. Base camp, 12 years after a 4-mile hill with a gift shop at the bottom. You're 46. You're on your 5th pair of boots. You don't go to his camp. He doesn't come to yours. Both camps know, and nobody mentions it, because base camp is a small town and small towns are polite about the wrong things. May 19th, there's a hole in the forecast. A real window, a short one, slamming shut on the 20th. Every outfit with a doctor on staff stands down and waits for the 22nd. His outfit goes. You stand outside your tent at 8 at night and watch 9 headlamps leave the call, and you know the arithmetic before you've finished counting them. You could walk over there. You have the standing. You have 23 clients who are alive to say it works. You also have 5 years of a phone that doesn't ring. You don't go. You lie in your tent and listen to the wind get exactly as loud as the forecast said. 26 hours. Then 40. Then the radio traffic changes, not louder, quieter. It goes from urgent to procedural. You've made that transition yourself into a satellite phone to a kitchen in Ohio. Nobody comes down from 28,500 feet after 40 hours, and nobody gets up there in time to be told so. May 22nd, your window, and it's clean. Above the south summit, around 28,500 feet, in the gray before the light comes up, there's a man sitting to the right of the fixed line, still clipped in, 2 fingertips missing on the right hand. You'd know that hand across a room. Sitting, facing up the ridge. The axe is clipped to the side of his pack back where it started. You crouch next to him and don't do anything for a long time. Long enough that your own hands start to go. Then you unclip it. The notch is still blank. 12 years and he never filled it, and now nobody will. You are 500 feet below the summit of Everest. The same 500 feet. It's 9:40 in the morning. On the back of your hand, in blue marker, in your own handwriting. 11 o'clock. And for the first time in 12 years, the arithmetic says go, because the rule was never about summits. It exists to bring people down alive, and there is nobody here to bring down. You clip his axe to your pack. You go up. You stand on the summit of Everest at 10:50 in the morning. You don't cry. You don't photograph yourself. You don't call anyone. You have 11 minutes of usable oxygen and a discipline you were given by a man 500 feet below you. You take his axe off your pack. You set it in the snow beside the marker, notches up, the blank one last in the row. You leave it there. It's the first thing you've ever carried up a mountain and not carried back down. Autumn, a Saturday, the same gravel lot in the gorge, and there's a guy in his 30s at the back of the group with the tags freshly off a pair of Target boots that have never touched dirt. He's breathing hard, and the hike hasn't started. Everyone is being nice to him about it. You look at the boots for about 2 seconds, and you don't say it. If this story stayed with you, like and subscribe for more.